What about this for a jumper? It's very warm actually today. Welcome back to Yes, How Can I Help? In this fourth episode, I decided to narrow down the scope of the questions and answers just a little bit because obviously it's quite tiring for me having to. We receive tens of thousands of questions on every aspect of not just human existence, but every aspect of existence, of all things that have ever come to be, and that just takes a bit of a toll research-wise. So I've narrowed it down this week and invited questions on basically the five main things, which are aviation, dreams or problems, chess and that sort of thing, money, and ice. Plenty of people have suggested, well, not suggested, plenty of people have pleaded for wisdom on this subject. I'm going to start taking my way through these, or making my way, you can't take your way through something, making my way through these questions now with the usual proviso that we will have to cap this at 10 minutes, even if we are, as happened before, in the middle of an important question. Can we eat jellyfish? No! You shouldn't. No, of course not. Ugh. Or just sit down to some jellyfish. Get it out of your mind. Can we eat jellyfish? Christ. Given this whole venture is a pushback against ChatGPT, which is true, of course this is my attempt to reclaim the field of knowledge, learning and information for humans. Those are my brackets, but this question is, the rest of it is the question. So in fact I'll do it in, the guy is called Gareth, I'll do it in what I imagine Gareth's voice is like now, to differentiate between mine and his. Given this whole venture is a pushback against ChatGPT and other AI skullduggery. So this is still Gareth, but I've dropped the squeaky voice, can't know him. If possible, would you go back in time to destroy Deep Blue, the chess computer, noted as a key step in the development of AI? Difficult one, isn't it? Firstly, it is quite weird that loads of the problems now we have with AI, like robots are about to kill us all and things, are just because we wanted to make a really, really good chess computer to play against Garry Kasparov, the chess champion in the 90s. The trouble is, once you go back and start destroying things, firstly, you don't know if you're going to unpick the fabric of the reality you now live in. Plenty of films have dealt with this dilemma. And also, if I don't know if I'd be able to do it discreetly. I wouldn't know how to go about destroying a computer, but I'd probably just have to have at it with a sledgehammer, and if someone saw me doing that, it might count as criminal damage, and I don't want to end up getting locked in prison. But in the past, was this not clear then how and whether I would be able to return here? And after all, I have my children and my interests. So no, I don't think that, even though there are a lot of troubling questions about the steps that we should have not taken in order to get here, we are here, and I don't think me going back with my great big sledgehammer and whacking a computer is actually the best way to counter it, even if, and I also don't have a time machine. Well, who does? Why did flying goggles fall out of fashion, and what can we do as a society to bring them back? The honest answer is, pilots stopped wearing flying goggles because you can't see through them at all. That's why they were always crashing in the old days. Not only were their planes a bit shit, but they couldn't see where they were going. If you've ever done an experiment, like in a chemistry lab, and put goggles on, you'll know that it's very blurry. It was a bad idea ever to fly planes with goggles on, but you'd be surprised how much of this happened. There was also a fashion for pilots wearing blindfolds and masks and all sorts of other impediments. These days, it's generally accepted that pilots ought to have as clear visibility as possible, and in fact pilots aren't even meant to wear funny hats in case, like the co-pilots in particular are not allowed to wear funny hats in case it makes the pilot giggle and crash into a mountain, etc. Sorry, I should have said etc, because there's loads of things you can crash into if you're on a plane. I want to get better at chess and that sort of thing. Any advice? Yeah, to get better at chess, take on slightly better players than yourself, and you'll keep losing, but you will start to learn some tricks. Unless you're just not very good at it, then you'll just get depressed because you're always losing. What a loser. And same with most games, actually. You do benefit from playing against superior opponents, but only if you can keep your confidence up, as I say. So sometimes it's also worth playing against someone that's much worse than you. in order to maintain your faith in yourself. Walk that tightrope. That's my advice between superior and inferior players. I've entered the squash league. Are there any reliable ways to encourage certain types of dreams? Alternatively, any way to reduce bad dreams about certain problems? Yeah, well, the main thing scientists recommend for this... Oops, yes, there's a surprise tree root. And also thing on my nose. There's been a thing on my nose, some sort of insect. We're in rough vegetation here in London, and anything is possible in the next couple of minutes, I think. I've now got a separate thing in my mouth, I think. Various things have sort of flown in and around me in the last couple of minutes. I maintain calm, though, and shrubbery, vegetation, all sorts here. Yes, the main way, so if you want to dream about... how are we doing, Alex?
5 minutes.
Okay. I always ask you at the halfway point, don't I? It's uncanny. I suppose I do have the time on my phone, but I'm not looking at it. I don't have a timer on my phone.
Yeah, we know what you're doing.
Yeah, if you want to dream about, say you wanted to very badly dream about a horse, for example, before you go to sleep, just mutter horse dream, horse dream, horse dream. Similar to how, if you're trying to conceive a child, muttering baby, baby, baby during sex generally will do it. The longer you can do it for before sleep, the better. So if you lie in bed for an hour, if you lie in bed for an hour muttering horse dream, horse dream, horse dream, then it gives you probably 50% chance. 2 or 3 hours of horse dream and you're about 75% likely. If you can find the time to spend your entire waking day in bed muttering horse dream or whatever the dream is you want, then it's close to 100%. More on dreams soon, including, if I've got time, a brief look at the apparently quite widespread trend of dreaming that I have died. Why do people get so mad at people who like eating ice? Like, people are happy when you drink water, but it's the same thing, just because I like it in a different state. It's true that eating ice is generally not as widely, so you don't see lots of people walking around munching on ice cubes the way you might see them drinking from a bottle of water, but does that necessarily mean it's wrong to eat ice? Yes. Yes. The reason people get so mad at you is that it's not the right thing to do. The crunching noise it makes people unhappy, and
the teeth.
Yes, it's difficult for your teeth, and sometimes you get too big an ice cube and you trap, and then you sort of I don't think you should eat ice, and I don't think you should eat jellyfish. And if that makes me unpopular, if this episode makes me unpopular, yes, how can I help? It wasn't purely set up in order to underscore my status as some sort of hero or god figure, although I do have those statuses. Sometimes one has to speak plain, honest truth, and some of you are disgusting. Thanks for your question. Do bees and wasps hang out together? This is an aviation question. Outside of official business, or are they swarm enemies? And unfortunately that is a pun, swarm enemies. Well, I'll ignore the pun and just say bees and wasps are neither friends nor enemies. They're just sort of, you know how there's often someone living near you, and you'll say hello to them, and you might ask, how was your day or something. They don't really care. That's sort of how bees and wasps interact. A bee might say, oh, I did some pollination. What have you been up to? And the wasp might say, I menaced a small child. And then they'll nod and go about their respective business. Shall we live to 150 years or nah? Yeah, well, of course, there'd been enormous difficulties if we lived to 150, including the fact that the population is already placing huge strain on the Earth's resources. And there are also lots of difficulties you'd face if you got even beyond 100 in terms of your health and so on, and losing what we call your marbles. Time, Alex?
2 minutes.
Right, but the short answer is I'd like to live to 150, I think. Assuming that I could keep some sort of semblance of my mental and physical self as it currently is. The world is so bewilderingly and sort of dizzyingly full of possibilities. Life offers so much, and you can only do a fraction of it, and I've always found that quite tormenting. If there was a way that you could live to 150 and enjoy any sort of quality of life, even compromised in some ways, then I'd be up for it. But of course, you'd have to take some friends and family with you. You wouldn't want to outlive everyone you ever loved or cared about. It's fiddly. So I think I'll shake hands on 120. And you should all start thinking about how to celebrate my 120th birthday, please.
Let's go this way.
Oh, yeah. What makes the video game Sensible Soccer sensible? The honest answer is it was created by Sensible Software, a computing company in the 90s. One of the greatest, well, its successor, Sensible World of Soccer, is the greatest football video game of all time. How many planes would you like if someone was just giving out planes? I think if someone offered me a load of planes, I obviously wish to fly them myself, because I currently can't drive a car or ride a bike. How are you doing?
30 seconds.
But I'd like to make a fleet of planes that people that can't ordinarily afford to fly can, and they'd have to be in some way carbon. So I'd like 20 planes, please. The time always just, where do flies come from? Don't know. That thing you're sleeping, you fall, you hit the ground. Do astronauts get that? When like I don't know that, but I expect astronauts have other things in their brains. Why? Is it all right to have your feet out in public, like on a? I don't. Not on the whole, you shouldn't. I don't think, but it's fine in the park.
And
Well,
that's time.
something about salt. Okay. Well, once again, it's been a pleasure to clear up all of your problems, except I didn't get through most of them. So those will go into the pool of unfinished business, and probably episode 6 will be, as was episode 3, a catch-up. Please keep the comments coming and the questions coming in the comments. You may also comment upon each other's comments and so forth, creating an online culture. It has been a pleasure once again to share, yes, how can I help, with you. That's why magnesium reacts the way it does. Please like and subscribe. Having said I would have done the same.